Right, first talking point I want to get to. Before any of the pay-per-views even took place, there has been controversy, interest. WWE versus AEW. Apparently there's a wrestling war on once again. I was sort of kind of unaware of it, and now apparently WWE sort of feels like there definitely is a wrestling war because they've been going out of their way and counter-programming and counter-booking AEW stuff quite a lot recently, it seems. I've got a couple of different examples for you. So, of course, like All In, there were no less than 3 super shows in 2 days. So, All In, Ring of Honor was Friday, we're not even including Ring of Honor, and then WWE countered that with Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, Georgia, also NXT Great American Bash as well. I heard the show was inoffensive but not particularly important. Anyway, once again, we didn't have time to watch that. So WWE has also supposedly tried to book the ECW Arena just a week before AEW was taking up a 7-week residency in the building, and then when, for whatever reason, they couldn't, we guess, they ended up booking the Wells Fargo Center a week before in Philadelphia. Am I right?
Yeah, they used to call it the FU Center, the First Union Center. It was Wells Fargo and whatever else there. Now, here's a question about that. I know that, they're doing like a 7-week run at the arena, and they were trying to get the week before. Is it NXT that's at Wells Fargo or WWE? Because it's kind of a war, but at the same time, a little bit of an insult thrown at AEW that we're sending our developmental show to counter you, like Great American Bash instead of Saturday night's main event. They're trying to say the secondary brand or the developmental brand is still better than their full-time roster and everything they offer. Do you get that kind of inclination that they're trying to throw out there?
Well, it's WWE Raw is going to be the Wells Fargo Center, and NXT is going to be the Met Philadelphia, which I don't know that venue.
I don't know that venue either. It could be renamed or a new building.
So here's the really interesting bit is that, well, for a couple of years, it seemed like there was no wrestling war. I mean, originally when AEW came out, NXT was, WWE counter-programmed by releasing NXT from the WWE network and doing a last-second deal to get it on the USA network, directly opposite AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite basically won that war, I guess, to the point that NXT then moved to Tuesday. And then all sorts of back and forth over many, many years, of course. And then it seems to have died down in the last year with WWE having such great fortune since, 2023, I guess. And now, all of a sudden, WWE is faltering somewhat. AEW is where AEW is at currently. And now WWE are trying to make life as hard as they can for AEW by counter-booking their programming. Almost like the old NWA Clash of the Champions thing.
Yeah, that's true. They used to do... Didn't WWE initially, NWA would do Starrcade on Thanksgiving, and then Survivor Series was created to counter that, correct? And then they would do the Clash of Champions going head-to-head, or WWE would go head-to-head with Clash of Champions on some pay-per-view schedules. Am I off base with that?
I'll give you another one. Royal Rumble was created as a free television special originally to counteract, was it the Bunkhouse Stampede or something? So, yeah.
Something like that. Now, Duggan won that on the first one on the USA Network, correct?
He did.
Cool. All right, so here's my theory. Let's start off right, because this is a great theme to kind of compare these. We complained, or kind of like pointed out in a way, it's very objective. 6 hours is a lot, especially 2 hours before, 2 hours after, and the 2-hour pre-show also had matches. So it wasn't even like when you watched that 6-man tag title match to open up the show, you weren't just getting a first match. It was literally like the first match that already happened during that 2-hour, 0 hour. But do you believe that AEW was purposely making it 5 hours and 56 minutes to distract people or not have people go over and check out Saturday night's main event, which started at 8 p.m. Eastern time?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
So the pay-per-view essentially did an overrun on purpose like TV does sometimes.
Yeah, I figure that's what time did it start for you? Because I didn't realize it was so early, the start time.
3 p.m. Eastern time.
So 3 p.m. Eastern time. So 9 p.m. it would have ended.
So they went into almost a full hour after Saturday night's main event started, so people would not consume both. But don't you think, I guess we're going with a lot of overarching themes, there's a theory in the wrestling business, and I'd really love to do a segment about not only the psychology of a wrestling match, but a psychology of the actual card and the way each match has its own purpose leading up to that main event. But do you think that by a 5-hour, 56-minute pay-per-view time with the 2-hour and 2-hour bumper, before and after, do you think it tires out even an AEW diehard fan to say, man, that's just enough wrestling. I got to take a break and may not even watch Wednesday based on that?
That's the point, though, isn't it? I mean, all this we've not even talking about the women's pay-per-view tomorrow, which has also been booked.
No,
so
tonight.
Today, I'm sorry. Tonight, as we record this, yesterday, I guess, this might even be released Sunday. This is a complete rush job we're doing, by the way. So it's just.
And I want to just point out while I'm thinking about it. Sorry to interrupt. I assume my common sense as somebody that doesn't want to completely just light a match or roll a grenade in the pay-per-view room for the weekend. I was like, wow, they have the women's pay-per-view next week. And then I double-checked and I told my wife, and I go, that's actually today. And she goes, after all the other stuff, they're expected to buy the women's pay-per-view. I go, yeah. And she kind of hinted what I thought was like, they don't care about that. They're just setting it up to fail, I guess, or don't care what it draws.
No, that's the point. They're setting that up not to fail, although it will fail, or it is a bit of a failure because they're not selling that many tickets. It's really heavily papered. The booking hasn't been very good at all. I mean, the Goldberg Saturday night's main event booking is well better and actually generated some interest. This Women's Evolution show is the biggest afterthought WWE have put out in a very long time, and all because they want to just dilute fan interest in AEW. I'm absolutely certain of that. And they're shooting themselves in the foot doing it. I mean, they won't lose any money or they won't lose any sleep over any tickets they didn't sell because there's just too much going on. But here's the thing. Wrestling promotions in a wrestling war, it's happened so many times in Georgia and Mid-South and, with WWE, with everyone, basically. Why are they doing it again now? I don't get it.
I don't get it either, because WWE is making money hand over fist.
But they're acknowledging AEW. They're starting a war, but therefore and then now they're acknowledging AEW as a bigger threat than maybe gate receipts or whatever would, tell you otherwise.
I don't understand it. I don't understand, because when you're number one, and which clearly they're number one by profit, by ratings and all that stuff, and every merchandise sales, I assume it's just a juggernaut with TKO and everything being sponsored. By the way, AEW took a beat from WWE because of the Assassin's Creed sponsored entrance during Will Ospreay. Because you see ninjas, you think of Will Ospreay right off the bat.
It's not the first time I think he's been sponsored by them either. Ubisoft has had a bit of a relationship, I think, with AEW for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I'm jealous. Trust me, I would want the Assassin's
you'd wear
Creed
the hood.
entrance
You
too.
would wear the hood and the jacket. I know.
Absolutely. I would be a video. Yeah, I'd be the NFL 2K5 thing and get Madden fans mad all around the world. But looking at that, that's a great point. Like, what is WWE's end game by acknowledging or competing or trying to take away fans from AEW? Because we've talked about it in the past. We talked about it last week. We talked positively about AEW. WWE fans are going to get mad at us. We talk positively about WWE fans. AEW fans get mad at us. We're somewhere in the middle. But that polarization's good because it's tribal. But how are you going to convert somebody that's already predisposed to hate your product because they like the other product? That's really a tough, double-edged sword, I guess you would say, to use an Assassin's Creed pun with that.
So it's 2025. I mean, who are you really hurting here? Because I guess most people, have still got lives and a finite amount of time, because there was Dynamite, then Collision on Thursday, which we'll be talking about Collision on Thursday later. Then we had on Friday SmackDown and the Ring of Honor show. Then on Saturday, I think we had the NXT Great American Bash and All In and Saturday night's main event. And on Sunday, we've got the Evolution show. But the thing is that pretty much it's been 6 years almost of AEW's existence. You're pretty much entrenched in who you're going to enjoy or want to watch the show of more. I think there's a very, very, almost like swing voters. It's a very, very small percentage of people who are going to, choose one over the other. And then everybody else is like, well, pay-per-view, you can just buy after the fact, or you can just record Saturday night's main event. So all this effort, and I think weirdly, the only All In will be hurt a little bit by pay-per-view sales. That's for sure. But it seems that the Evolution pay-per-view is really going to be the biggest loser in this because all the booking power has been going towards SummerSlam and Saturday night's main event, and now this pay-per-view that no one can remember is happening is completely suffering for it.
Well, let's start Wednesday. I'm going to add the time up. I'm not a math expert or anything.
Okay.
I was just a doctor, not a mathematician. 2 hours of Dynamite on Wednesday, correct?
Yep.
2 hours of Collision on Thursday, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's 4 hours. 3 hours or more of the Supercard show Friday night?
We'll be generous and say 3. That's 7.
No, what I'm just saying 3 minimum of just that pay-per-view. And then you also you had a 0 hour of that.
Okay.
Which was 2 hours before. So basically 7 and 9.
9.
Because you're counting that 0 hour. Saturday
SmackDown 2 hours.
Oh, SmackDown.
That's 11.
So it's 11 hours right there. Then, of course, yesterday was the big one. So 2, 6, 2, so 10. So 21 hours of that. Great American Bash, 2 hours or 3? 2, probably,
2,
right?
probably. So that's 10 hours, 21. Then Saturday night's main event was 2, so that's 23. The Evolution pay-per-view will probably be 3.
But you forgot about Great American Bash. If that was 2, that's
no,
25.
Because we're not having the post-show for All In. Because that would have been 10. But it's actually 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
right.
So it's either 23 or 25 hours of wrestling in 5 days.
But then today, we have a minimum of a 3-hour show with the women's pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I included that.
So now, are you included?
Yeah, so we'll say 23 to 25 hours.
Hey, I have to apologize. Remember I said we were going to do a watch-along live reaction?
Yeah,
it would not have bode well. I almost fell asleep after the second match again.
You were texting me last night, and you were like, "Oh my god, the Money in the Bank Casino Gauntlet thing is still going on. It's still going on." And then you said also you nearly passed out in disappointment when you were watching the Hurt Dynasty, and then one of the announcers said there was 3 more matches to go, and you were like, "Oh god."
I literally went on the floor and got into the fetal position. My cats were checking on me. So where do we start? I guess if we're talking more about AEW All In, we should probably start with
just before we do, just one more thing on this WWE AEW thing is, once again, you said you don't know what the end game is, but why would WWE try and hurt AEW business when the fact is that they're both operated by multi-billion-dollar conglomerates who can, afford to run shows for free for probably the next 100 years, quite frankly. It's not like the territory days. You're not damaging anyone. It's just annoying for nothing else for the fans, I think.
Well, isn't it the point of wrestling that the word I always attach, especially when it comes to WWE, is pettiness? Being petty. And also, I don't understand why you have so many people on the roster that you can put your energy into and your time into to draw even more money. A name comes to mind is Karrion Kross and a ton of other people that you can really put a proper investment into those people and get a big return and make even more money instead of spending this time trying to figure out a way to book shows and shoehorn shows in AEW's way. But what you're doing also is you're shoehorning those shows and pay-per-views and damaging your own product in the process. You're literally it's mutual assured destruction in a way, even though, like you said, they could run it for 100 years for free. But now we're all on the treadmill of lateral movement by paying attention to another brand.